Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jonathan Coates, and in today's free social media marketing training, I'm basically going to be picking up where I left off when we were talking about the difference between 4G and regular proxy or residential, static, etc. And then we were also talking about what Instagram tracks as far as your fingerprint, so device ID, other identifiers such as family device IDs, any other apps you have on your phone related to Facebook, Bluetooth signals, ISP, language, time zone, mobile phone number. So we were talking about all this because it's directly related to creating a ton of Instagram accounts. And if you want to do it in a way where you're able to do it unlimited, if you want to have an army of Instagram accounts, well, you don't want to be doing all that stuff from the same location. So this is part two. I'm basically picking up where I left off. I went through all of this right here, and now I'm just going to read here. And then I also want to read the rest of these. So this is a question a guy asked recently, as well as how many accounts can be used per proxy, and then how to create a lot of IG accounts. And this was just recently responded to. So let's go ahead and pick up where I left off. 4G plus mobile proxies are expensive and hard to find. They're complicated to configure and tricky to use. You can't just trust any 4G mobile proxy provider. They might be sharing your connection and or your data with someone else, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and we're here to explore your options and shed light on some of the myths of 4G proxies. Nowadays, over half of the world browses the internet from their mobile devices, and this trend is not going anywhere. We're already using smartphones and tablets for virtually everything. Mobile devices are connected to the internet usually through their own 4G connection and are changing their IP address constantly at different intervals. The websites or social media platforms that you're connecting to, they see that you're accessing them from a phone over a 4G network and will never ban your IP address or really know who you are, at least not based on your IP address. These are the main reasons for using 4G proxies, but we're here to talk about pricing. We'll discuss 4 topics to get to the bottom of these rare and precious 4G proxies: research and development, how to, the cost, proxy providers. So research and development, all ideas start with good research and then development, or trial and error. It's these trials and errors that will try your patience and push you to near insanity. Trying out technology that is not taught in universities, including YouTube University, will make you wish you had someone by your side to explain to you why your 4G proxy is not working or being detected by the likes of Instagram and etc. How to make a 4G proxy. And any serious proxy provider will never give away this knowledge and the know-how they have acquired during their trials and errors. It takes time and money to learn how to build a stable and fully functioning proxy network. Any 4G proxy out there that seems to be too cheap and underpriced is just that and too good to be true. Fact is that anyone who hasn't given up in the process of learning how to build these systems has no more patience or energy left to explain the many important details of a proxy network to anyone. So here's a video that explains how proxies actually work. Now, if you click on this, it's no use because they'll be like, yo, it looks like you're lost. And apparently, if you take me to the 404 page, yeah, I'm lost. So what is the cost of making a 4G proxy? You'll need an unlimited monthly data plan, anywhere between 20 to 60 US dollars. I've seen some as low as 17, but that's like for the first month. Actually, I'm thinking about it. I think it's either Tello or Verizon. Actually, maybe it might be Boost as well. Fresh SIM cards, not just one, hardware that will run 24 hours, programming skills, that alone will melt your brain. The right software, which is not openly sold on eBay, server know-how, and a secure backup. Because something always breaks down, and those are just a few of the needed components. And by the way, I created an entire video on how to create 4G mobile proxies with a Raspberry Pi, 4G dongle, SIM cards, and 2 phones. So be sure to check that out. It's pretty long, but I do plan on condensing it and making it more simplified. I actually have 3 Raspberry Pis right now and 3 dongles. So I'm creating my own automation system still. In the last 2.5 months, I took a break. I just took time off, but I came back and I'm basically just building up the whole operation right now. So Raspberry Pis are really cheap. They're about $100. You can find them less than that, and then get you a dongle as well as the screen. And then you would just install the software and then you configure it. There's a lot of guides out there, but I do have an actual video that covers that. Those are just a few of the needed components. And no, you cannot just connect your mobile phone to your PC or laptop and call it a 4G mobile proxy. There's more to it. Anyone advising you differently is clearly wasting your time and lacks the needed know-how themselves. So who are the 4G providers? They're few and far between for exactly the reasons mentioned previously. Once you realize that most quality 4G providers out there came about due to frustration and the lack of good enough IP4 or IP6 proxies, data center residential proxies, you will also realize that the pricing is based on realistic calculations. Some will offer less features and will adjust their pricing accordingly. So he's mainly talking about people who rent out proxies right now. Some will be fully featured with many unlimited bonuses and will charge you more, obviously. Let's have a look at the pricing of 4G proxy providers below, and then we'll dive into the details of their offers. As you can see, pricing is pretty much the same across the board of 4G mobile proxy providers, and as you guessed it, and he's basically sending people to this link right here that no longer exists. This is due to the fact that they all have the same costs associated and know that their margins are tight. Their cost of a data plan alone is already eating up half their price to you, and that does not include any of their costs of running the hardware, software, and support needed for such an operation. For this reason, many 4G providers have become quite creative with their offers and started defining different specifications. So let's look at the most common ones. Unlimited bandwidth, or traffic versus limited traffic, which will cut you off after 10 gigabytes. Unlimited social media bandwidth or traffic, which will limit you to only connect to Instagram, for example. Unlimited threads or connections at the same time, which just means that they will not limit how many accounts you connect to over their 4G proxy. Some providers will limit this anywhere from 1 to 5 accounts per 4G proxy, and we'll explain later why they would do this. And then private proxy or dedicated proxy will usually mean that you are the only one using the 4G proxy, but be careful here. The only way to know for sure that this is the case and the 4G provider is not selling your proxy multiple times is to trust your provider. You can also ask for log files, hardware setup pictures, or become suspicious if your 4G proxy is losing its quality after some time. Dedicated SIM card. It's not the same as a dedicated port, raw proxy, or private connection. Always make sure you have your own SIM card with your 4G proxy provider. This way, you should be the only one connecting through that SIM card's connection to the internet. Clean IPs. All real 4G proxy IP addresses are clean and can be checked easily. And he sends people to this link right here to check on the quality of an IP address, so ipqualityscore.com. This looks like it's running pretty slow, but there's probably definitely some alternatives out there. Okay, here we go. So this definitely detects the IP that you're on. IP pool is the number of IP addresses, usually IP4, that a 4G provider can supply through the mobile internet service providers. Every mobile internet service provider has their own number of IPs they give out, usually anywhere upwards of 50,000 IP addresses. I don't know if that's 50,000. What do you meant by that? So the more ISPs there are, the better. The more different SIM cards, example, O2, T-Mobile, 3, etc. Proxy speed is equal to the 4G connection speed of the used SIM card. This can fluctuate depending on time of day. Of course, the data plan being used by the 4G proxy provider, the connection quality to the cell tower, and the proxy hardware being used. Usually, proxy speeds will range anywhere from 5 to 100 megabits per second, download or even upload. In most use cases, the speed of your proxy is not relevant as long as it can connect and do its task, unless you're planning to stream, upload large files, or connect massive amounts of accounts to one proxy, which we won't be doing because we're just basically running social media accounts. Location of the 4G proxy can be relevant, but only if you're planning location-specific actions. Logging into the same account from another device, then they should be in the same country. Otherwise, 4G proxies are location independent. Rotation of your 4G proxy, better said, the rotation of changing of your IP address. There are natural rotations that occur with 4G connections, and these are initiated by the MISPs. When changing from one cell tower to another or reconnecting from your phone modem to the 4G cell tower. Automatic rotations are when the 4G providers themselves reconnect to the 4G cell tower at set time intervals. This will renew your 4G IP address, for example, Instagram. Support is important and vital to all services, so make sure to check which type of support the different 4G providers offer. Email, instant messaging, or even sometimes a phone. Then test their response times and ask them if they operate their own hardware or are resellers. And then sharing a 4G mobile proxy is possible, and the same SIM can be used for multiple connections. This is absolutely okay if the 4G provider informs you of this. Some providers offer limited threads, ports, or connections and reduce their proxy pricing to you based on this. They will basically divide the one 4G proxy through the number of accounts that are connecting through it. They might have 3 times the customers paying for one and the same 4G proxy, but each customer is limited to maximum 5 accounts. And because of this, only 15 accounts will ever connect through that proxy. Let's hope they divide the full price of that 4G proxy also by 3. So in conclusion, we can all agree on some common sense tips regarding buying a 4G mobile proxy. Do not compare data center or residential proxies with 4G proxies. They are different. One 4G mobile proxy can be used for many accounts. An example, 5 to 10 plus IG accounts, or even more if you run them in shifts. At the same time, you can also connect a bunch of Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn accounts. If you add all those up, you'll end up with under $3 to $5 per account per month. Get yourself a trial and then test your applications. If it's too good, cheap to be true, it is. Be nice and fair. You want to be able to build trust, communicate, ask for advice, and demand the highest quality. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this. I really did learn a lot from this right now, and it clarifies so much for me. So let's go ahead and read this right here. So he basically explains this in his answer, but this guy asked, hey, so this guy wanted to know the difference in layman's terms between a regular proxy and a 4G mobile proxy, and why it's called 4G mobile proxies. So I'll just leave this in the description due to the sake of time, because I also wanted to go over these, but these are really, really short. So I'll let you have this, read for your own. I hope that this clarified a lot, and this is just supporting stuff, because a lot of the people that's responded to that initial account basically respond to this. But bottom line, when it comes to how many accounts can be used per mobile proxy, 2 to 5 accounts. And as he said, you can, depending on how you do it, you can switch shifts and rotate the IP addresses. And then this one too, how to create a lot of IG accounts and manage them. This one starts in 2019, and as recent as 14 hours ago, as of this video, somebody responded. So I do want you to check this one out as well, how to create a lot of IG accounts, and I might possibly take this and expand and make a much longer video on this. All right, so that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you enjoy it. If you like content like this, then I definitely recommend you subscribe to my channel. I talk about everything when it comes to AI, automation, SEO, copywriting, email marketing, affiliate marketing. And I also have a free automation social media marketing checklist right in the description. You can have it with you as you go about your social media marketing strategy. Basically, just make sure you're covering all bases. You can go down the checklist, and it's completely free. All you gotta do is you put your name and your email address in. It'll get sent right to your inbox. All right, so I hope you enjoy. Make sure you take a look at the tools and the resources below, as well as the pinned comment by the Affiliate Marketing Samurai. And with that said, I will see you in the next video. See you then.